We hear a lot about gender issues, stereotypes, and discrimination. There are many people who may not face this, but there are many who grapple with these issues every day. As always, I say each to their own in how they may deal with them. And this is too wide an issue to cover in just one episode. But I thought it would be interesting to explore some of these gender issues at home and at work. On the show today, we explore some gender stereotypes at work and at home.
Whether it's a woman or a man, you will look for certain qualities in a person when you're hiring them. I don't think gender should even come into it.
We also meet the mother of blogging in India, Miss Malini, and her husband Naushad.
Since I've become an entrepreneur, I've actually felt that being a woman has been to my advantage.
And a tete-a-tete with a dear friend Tushar Kapoor and Dr. Firoza Parekh on Tushar's journey to becoming a father.
By the time I reached my early to mid 30s, a marriage hadn't happened by then. So I had this idea in my mind that the clock is ticking. So I need to have a child, at least if I want to be a father. I just want you all to bless my child and be by his side like you have been so far.
We met some wonderful people who have different perspectives on gender issues at home and in the workplace to understand more about this. So Vishal, as the CEO of Superfly, which I know is a very egalitarian organization where there's meritocracy with hiring women and men, do you personally have any reservations when you're hiring either of the genders?
No, not really. It's a fairly 50-50 ratio. I've never really thought about it while hiring. And maybe it's because I'm hiring people who are in their late 20s mostly. Here we have a great policy with maternity and stuff like that. Maybe that's the reason we don't think about it so much. I think it's also from an employer's point of view, it's important that the person who's deciding to take time off needs to be okay with getting paid less. If you're going to be doing 3 hours a day, you will get paid for 3 hours a day.
Frankly, whenever the gender discussions begin, I'm always a little concerned that it also shouldn't flip the other way. So Anjali, we hear a lot about equality, about policies to help make it easier for women. What's actually happening?
There is a lot of policy changing that is really happening. It's all in the right direction, but it's not really penetrated deep into the organizations really.
Yes.
And in fact, we have women on our platform. I mean, if you look at their pedigree, it is top class. And then suddenly after the child happens, there's a complete break. Those kind of women, we are trying to take them back into the corporate workspace in some way.
Yeah.
So either projects or, like a returnship program.
Like internship.
Yeah.
That's an interesting concept.
And then the option of full-time employment is then left to both the parties at the end of that returnship project. Yeah.
Now, Kiran, you of course have created your own working rules, but you also were in an organization before and you were playing by the so-called rules of the organization.
Absolutely.
So was that a conscious decision or was it something that kind of organically happened?
Actually, to be honest, when I was trying to have a baby, I did take off because it was a very high-pressured profession, as you know.
Yeah.
Thinking that I would get back after the baby was, a little older, but somehow that didn't come about and I went into freelance space.
Yeah.
Having said that, I think it was easier for me only because I was in that particular industry. I was in writing. So freelancing is much more easier in this space than it is in other spaces.
Yeah.
Had I been in something else like banking or tech,
Yes.
it would have been impossible for me to do so. And I'm happy it wasn't a very conscious decision at that point, but
Right.
it worked out.
Now, Vishal, talking about the women who work under you, it's interesting that most of your senior management is women. And Rupak often jokes that the most efficient people are multitasking mums. Do you agree?
Yes. I think every individual is different. It's about hiring the best person for the job at hand. Whether it's a woman or a man, you will look for certain qualities in a person when you're hiring them, right? It is true though, and without sounding this discriminatory to my own gender, women do multitask better. That's something I've noticed. It's probably something that comes with experience.
And you have to. There's no
yeah, but I
question.
mean, like if you throw a man into the same situation tomorrow where he has to probably cook for the kids and still make it to work and do all of the things that a working mom does, we don't see enough of them in India. In
I'm
the
sure
West,
they do as well, yeah.
So I think a lot of this has to do with stereotypes and the way society has brought us up.
Absolutely. One of the things I say constantly on the show is each to their own. And I really believe one shouldn't judge anyone because everyone's situation and circumstance is different. But I often wonder if some of these gender stereotypes or even conforming to certain so-called roles happens because people do judge. And some auntie somewhere does say something like, oh, you're a mother, but you're working and you're not there. Kiran, have you ever faced anything like that?
When my books have their launch, I travel a lot. So a couple of books ago, I had to travel when my son's midterms were on. And I got asked from everyone, how will he study? You're going to be traveling. And that played on my mind so much. I was drowning in guilt. And at the end of it, I thought to myself, I have to do this.
Yes.
And he was like, fine, mom, I'll manage.
I think it's wonderful, and kids, as I always think, they teach us quite a bit about like losing these judgmental views that often pervade society. So, Vishal, if you had to give any tips to any male employers, what would you say?
I think it starts with not having any biases while you're hiring. Hire the best person for the job. I don't think gender should even come into it. Second thing is, the biggest bone of contention today is the whole having a baby thing. And I think it's just about creating policies that help people take a break and come back without, like affecting work. But it should be for both men and women.
Absolutely. And Kiran, is there any tips for women and men, mothers, sensitizing their kids on gender?
For me, as a mother, the main thing is to make my son realize that he and another girl in his class or in the playground are no different from each other. If a girl can cry, a boy can also cry. What gives him the idea that the girl is not strong? Girls are doing different things. So it is my job to point out wherever he comes back from an idea which is not relevant to gender equality. That's just what I try to do.
Excellent. And Anjali, any tips you'd like to give?
The idea is to find your balance. Don't give up working. Don't give up your own financial independence. Try and make it work in whatever circumstances that you have. Pull out all your so-called support. Use it the way you want to. And I think deal with the guilt also, because the working woman's guilt is something that takes away a lot from her.
Absolutely. I think conversations like this hopefully open up the door to more such conversations and just hopefully help someone somewhere. So thank you all so much for being on the show. It's really been a pleasure.
Thank you, Tara.
Coming up, a chat on gender stereotypes with the successful couple behind the brand Miss Malini.
You often get the question, what's it like working for your wife?
Yeah.
I don't think anyone ever asks, what's it like working for your husband? Somehow that's okay.
And a tete-a-tete with a dear friend Tushar Kapoor and Dr. Firoza Parekh on Tushar's journey to becoming a father.
I met Mr. Prakash Jha at Tirupati, and there he told me that if you want to be a single dad, you can do surrogacy.
So these are signs, I believe, that, things were meant to be.
It's in God's hands. That Laksh is in my hands today.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. Being an optimist, I like to believe things are changing for the better. But the general consensus is there are still some biases against women at work. And in fact, women entrepreneurs are not often taken as seriously as their male counterparts. They often say behind every successful man is a woman. But today we are meeting a man who's a great support to his talented wife. Today we have a really special and very successful couple with us. We have literally the mother of blogging in India, Miss Malini, and her husband, Naushad, who is often called Mr. Malini, but he's also a big force behind Miss Malini. Thank you, both of you, for being on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So now, getting straight to the gender sort of stereotypical perception, when you have such a successful venture, which actually has your name, Miss Malini, and a husband who's working with you, do you often get the question, is your husband okay with working with you or for you?
Yeah.
Does that come up?
I think it's because the brand is called Miss Malini. That's the assumption.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't understand the genesis of this is the only reason I was able to do this is because I had so much support.
Yeah.
Somebody giving you the confidence and saying, well, you have the talent, let's make this happen. The business requires all the roots of it. And he really is, the business head. So, it's a big standing joke. But I think people have now slowly begun to realize that it isn't like that.
So does the Mrs. question come up now that you are married?
It is literally everybody's favorite joke. And when we got married, that was the first blog I wrote. And I'm like, no, it's not going to change to Mrs. Malini. And it's not because, I have a problem with being married and my identity changing. It's because Miss Malini started as my personal blog.
Yeah.
And now Miss Malini represents the millennial Indian. It's not just me, it's a brand.
Do you, Naushad, ever feel that societally there's sort of pressure that, oh, how come you're allowing her to take so much sort of credit for something that you're also such a big part of? Does that ever happen?
Well, you often get the question, what's it like working for your wife?
Yeah.
I don't think anyone ever asks, what's it like working for your husband? Somehow that's okay.
Very good point. Yeah.
Yeah, so you get that question, and I think it's unusual, so people often wonder about that world. But for me, it's never been a real problem. In fact, I will proudly say that I may not be working for my wife, but I'm very happily riding her coattails. My parents, who are very proud of Malini and what we do, will still pretty much every phone call I make to them ask me, so how's it going? When are you going to get a real job? But, it's all in good fun, I think.
A supportive spouse or supportive family can really go a long way in allowing you to achieve your dreams. Now, going to a more macro space, do you think that the general public actually see you as, honestly, as serious as a male entrepreneur?
Since I've become an entrepreneur, I've actually felt that being a woman has been to my advantage. And I think it's also my line of work. So you have like 100 sweaty cameramen, and you have a girl with a little camera, and you get a chance to go in front and do the interview. And that's actually always worked to my advantage.
Yeah, and I think you have to use that. Sometimes you use the gender card without, like, you're not harming anyone. Maybe in some ways just having different perceptions of gender may not then sometimes be such a bad thing.
I guess also for me, it's like sometimes we get caught up in this whole gender discrimination. Is it? And we assume that's always the case. But for me, whether my CEO is a man or a woman, I'd be very happy that the CEO is present for business meetings, because I am on the creative side and I would love to be there and give you ideas. But I don't really want to crunch the numbers and do that. It's not because I cannot, it's just because I know that that's his expertise.
Yeah, I think it's a great example for anyone out there who may have a boyfriend or a spouse that has interests which are complementary to yours and you think you could start a venture together. These are the people to seek advice from. And is there anything you'd like to say to anyone like that out there?
I believe personally Miss Malini brings a smile to a lot of people's faces every day. And if I was in any way opposed to that or didn't support that or felt like I also need to be in the limelight a bit, or you have to change it to Mrs. Malini, I mean, all these silly things that would have just ruined what is otherwise a fun, great, happy brand that's doing well for us, for our employees, and for our fans and readers, I think. So I hope we set a good example in that sense, that it can really work out well if you support whoever has the talent.
I always say you have to err on the side of not going one way or the other. You can't also go overly feminist, and you need to respect your partner for the effort they're making. I have immense respect for the fact that just the amount of respect and support he gives me, I need to do that as well. And I think that's very important.
Wonderful advice, both of you. It's been so lovely having you on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Looks like a supportive spouse and a healthy partnership can really help squash any gender stereotypes. We often hear a lot about gender stereotypes against women and girls, but it can also happen against men and boys. Somehow, society accepts a woman saying she has maternal instincts, even if she's single, as quite normal. But if a man who's single expresses the fact that he has paternal instincts, it's suddenly the talk of the town. We met a dear friend who's also a celebrated actor and who's actually gone ahead and done surrogacy and is the proud father of a gorgeous little baby, and the wonderful doctor who helped facilitate making it happen. Today we have with us two very, very special guests. We have a wonderful actor who's got brilliant comic timing. He's also the son of a legendary actor, Jitendra Ji. He's also a wonderful son, a great brother, and now an amazing dad to his gorgeous little son, Lakshya. We've got the fabulous Tushar Kapoor.
Thank you so much for the very warm welcome.
Thank you so much, Tushar, for being on the show. And we've also got with us a wonderful, amazing doctor, Dr. Firoza Parekh, who is extremely well-renowned. She's helped facilitate Tushar's dream of becoming a dad. She's also the head of assisted reproduction and genetics at the Jaslok Hospital, which has actually helped over 9,500 infertile people have babies. Thank you so much, Dr. Firoza, for being on the show.
It's a pleasure.
It really is. I have to say, when Tushar very kindly came on a previous season of my show, you mentioned how one day you'd love to be a dad. And I'm honestly so impressed that you've walked the talk and that you're here. Tell us, Tushar, how did you decide this was it and you're going to go for it?
Like you said, 3-4 years back, I was making statements like, I want to be a father, I love kids. But by the time I reached my early to mid-30s, marriage hadn't happened by then. And I didn't have a clue when it would happen. So I had this idea in my mind that the clock is ticking. So I need to have a child, at least if I want to be a father. You don't want to be a father to a 15-year-old when you're 60. You want to grow with your child and you want to be energetic for your child. So these thoughts would come to my mind. And I didn't have a clue how I would go about it without getting married.
Yeah.
So I think it was God sent. I met Mr. Prakash Jha at Tirupati after Darshan, and there he told me that, you know, if you want to be a single dad, you can do surrogacy, and he knows someone who has
Done surrogacy.
met doctor and done the assisted reproduction procedure, who's a
Right.
single mom now. And
That's
yeah.
amazing. So these are signs, I believe, that, things were meant to be.
But I took my time,
Yeah.
thought about it, and then I went and met doctor. I owe her my fatherhood, for sure.
That is amazing. What a wonderful story. So, doctor, tell us, when Tushar approached you, what was your first reaction?
What really impressed me about Tushar was he was true to himself.
Yeah.
He wanted to be happy. He had a biological need to be a parent.
Yes.
I found him to be extremely stable and very conscientious in whatever he said, very honest, and I
Yeah.
appreciated that a lot. And we felt that Tushar would make an excellent father.
You can't really quantify what you can do as a hands-on parent, but I try and do my best. I feed him sometimes. You know, obviously.
And you burp him.
I burp
you
him.
Hold him and
So when he
do the
burps,
burp.
the whole family is like, he's burped. And then he sleeps through the night. He's a very good
Wow,
child. He
that's
sleeps through the
amazing.
night. Please, nazar na lage, wo raat bhar sota hai.
When you told your parents about your desire to be a dad, what was their reaction?
Actually, I mean, I'm saying this for the first time to everyone. When the IVF was successful, that's when I told mom. I didn't tell her.
Oh,
I didn't take her
really?
permission. So I think that should tell people that I was really, really sure of what I was doing. It was
Yeah.
my decision. She was very supportive. Dad was very supportive, considering he's your typical Indian traditional, man. And I mean, the kind of movies he's done have been very, very Indian, typical traditional 60s, 70s, 80s, those kind of films. But they were really, really supportive. So I think that's when half the battle was won. It's when your parents are with you.
Yeah.
And I think it's in God's hands that Laksh is in my hands today.
That's
Yeah.
amazing, amazing. You touch upon it, the fact that he has the family support as well. Because I think when you say a single parent, we do live in society which does have certain so-called societal norms, and to actually break through and say, you don't have to live by stereotypes is really brave. Somehow for a woman, a single woman, to say I have a maternal instinct seems to be a societal norm. But if a single man says I have a paternal instinct, it's the talk of the town. So there has to be a mindset change. I really do believe.
Yeah, obviously having family support was a big factor in giving me the confidence to take this step. But also the fact that there are single parents all around us who are good parents, and it's
Absolutely.
proven time and again that it's the amount of time, love, and how much responsibility you take towards your children, which is most important, rather than going the stereotypical way wherein sometimes families are split up and things don't work out as comfortable for the child as it should be. And in that case, you'd rather be a single parent who doubles up for both, has the family support, and then the child is happy at the end of the day.
Now, about the actual procedure, I honestly don't really know exactly what it entails. So can you briefly just tell us?
In this, first of all, IVF is done in the
Right.
standard way. And then there is a woman who has been selected for the procedure of being a surrogate lady. She, of course, undergoes a lot of medical examination, counseling. Somebody who does surrogacy has to be very kind at heart. It's not just
Because
for
to
money.
give the-
She has to be a true mother
Yeah.
in order to make somebody else a parent. In India, we have very supportive laws and we have a legal system which promotes surrogacy.
And do you ever meet her, or you don't meet the surrogate
I
mother?
did. Of course, we saw to it that she's happy, that she's well taken care of. I gave her CDs and music and all kinds of things that would keep her, very
Happy.
positive, very happy. Like all moms,
Yeah, of course,
they
of
do
course.
that when they're pregnant. She has carried my child, and
Yeah.
God bless her.
I think it was a very emotional time for everybody because I feel the surrogate lady truly contributes to somebody's happiness.
And I think in this case, with you, you've certainly broken a barrier, especially I think being in the film industry. Not only have you done it, but you're being so vocal about it. And I think more than anything, that's inspirational to anyone out there who may in any way want to live life on their own terms, to know that
Absolutely.
you can do that.
It's
I
legal.
think it's legal.
Possible.
Yeah.
And there are people who are doing it. And if you have the means and the emotional inclination, why not?
Absolutely. Now tell us a little bit about your hands-onness.
You can't really quantify what you can do as a hands-on parent, but I try and do my best. I give him as much time as I can when he's awake. I feed him sometimes. You know, obviously.
And you burp him.
I burp
you
him.
Hold him hand
When he
with the
burps,
burp.
the whole family is like, he's burped. And then he sleeps through the night. He's a very good
Wow,
child. He
that's
sleeps through the night,
amazing.
yeah. Please, nazar na lage. वो रात भर सोता है.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. But just to check how hands-on you are, I'm going to do something funny.
Oh, wow.
But can I have it, please? Get
How
your competitive gloves on because we will be seeing who can change the pamper on the teddy faster.
I'll let him win.
No.
That's a good way of starting. Take one.
Okay, I'm gonna...
Take two. Take three. Take four.
There you go.
Five. They're both
At the same time, right?
This is
both did it exactly at the same time. You know what this is?
the mark if he's peed or not. No, it gets blue.
Yeah.
Obviously, he peed and then if he's pooped or not. But
Very
my
cool.
baby...
That's a wetness indicator.
Yeah.
Tells you it's a peed or poop.
No, but it's a
on
little
the
lower
count
though
of
on the diaper. It's supposed to be. But yeah, this is not a real diaper. I think. Or is
it.
it?
It is.
It's a real diaper, not a real kid.
Not a real kid. Oh God.
So thank you both so much for being on the show. It's been such a pleasure. So interesting and also so much fun. Is there anything you'd like to say to our viewers? Any tips you'd like to give?
What I would like to tell everybody is always be true to yourself, follow your heart, and always be happy.
That's lovely.
I'm no one to give advice to people on parenthood or fatherhood or being a single dad. I'm also a new single dad. I'm learning as we go. And that's the fun of it. That's the excitement, the adventure, the joy that's come into my life. I've shared a lot about my child, my baby Lakshya, with all of you. You all have been very supportive when we made the statement, the announcement. Everybody in India, I think, was delighted and very positive. We expected, all kinds of reactions, but I think unanimously, you guys have supported me. I just want you all to bless my child now and be by his side like you have been so far.
I'm really going to keep checking up, Tushar, on you and baby Lakshya to
Yes,
see.
please come over.
I would love to and I'd love to meet him. Thank you both so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
you.
It was wonderful being with you.
Thank you. The purpose of this show is to provide a platform to share stories so that some of you may relate to some, may agree to disagree, and perhaps it begins a conversation that can help bring about positive change. To interact with me, please write in to our social media handles. And for latest updates, please log on to our website. Till we meet again, bye-bye. Next week, we meet a few parents to discuss when and how they address some so-called taboo topics with their kids.
There's a direct and clear correlation between parents having the talk with safer sexual behavior. If they're old enough to ask, they're old enough to know.
Sometimes so-called taboo topics are kept hidden from children, not just because they may be awkward to share, but also in order to protect the child.
Fathers are not bad. There are some humans who are really horrible, and he was a terrible guy.
In some cultures, seemingly basic things like a girl child's education and sanitation can be seen as taboo. We met a dear friend, Ingrid Stellmacher, who recently did a wonderful interview with Malala's father on the subject.
Education, of course, is like lifting a veil from somebody's eyes. When you know something, you can't unknow it.